Hello, my name is Jed Nilsson, and I am going to talk to you about some home maintenance tips for winter. When you closed on your Nilsson home, you received a brochure that talks about these maintenance tips, but today we're going to show you exactly what they mean. In your brochure, the first paragraph talks about your roof and the different peaks and valleys in your roof, and some tips on what you can do in the winter to avoid ice damming. It's important to know that as the snow can build up on your roof, it can lead to ice damming, which then will lead to water leaking into your home. The ice damming isn't a sign of a construction defect, but is an act of nature that you can prevent by using heat tape. You can see above here where we've added heat tape to our roof at our model home, and what you do there, we've provided numerous outlets in your eaves that you can plug the heat tape into, and you can keep that on during the winter to melt the snow to avoid the ice damming. Various rain gutter companies can install the heat tape for you, or you can just purchase the heat tape and install it yourself. But it's very important that you analyze the different peaks and valleys in your roof and install the heat tape where necessary. The second paragraph in your brochure talks about your gutter downspouts. You'll notice when you closed on your Nilsson home that we attached this pipe to all of your downspouts to take the water away from the home. So you need to make sure that they stay attached, but you'll notice that we screw them in to do the best we can to make sure that they stay attached. But before winter hits, it would be good to make sure that they're attached and that they're running away from the home. Then, as you can tell, when we landscaped the yard here, we buried the pipe so you don't have to see it. But then as we carry it away from the home, we mark where the pipe comes out so that if it ever backs up, you can easily go to where the pipe ends and make sure that you can take all the water away from the house. The reason for doing that is if you don't keep these pipes installed, as the water comes out of the rain gutter, it can go right along your foundation and could eventually end up in your basement. So make sure that you keep these attached and away from the home, and you won't have any problems. The third paragraph of your brochure talks about your exterior concrete. It's important to know that your concrete is not under any kind of warranty, and so you need to do your best to maintain it so that it'll last a long time. When we installed your concrete, right after, we also sealed it to give it its first sealant and to make sure that it lasts well throughout the first year. But you need to make sure that every fall you go back and seal it again. You can buy the sealant at any Home Depot or Lowe's, and they can instruct you on what product to purchase and how to apply it, but it's very affordable and it's very easy. And so once every fall, go back and make sure that you seal it. There are also some important things to not do during the winter that will again make sure that your concrete lasts a long time. The first thing is you need to make sure that you don't drive on your driveway when there's snow on the driveway. So if it snowed, before you pull in, park out on the street and clear all the snow off of the driveway so that when you pull in, you're pulling into a clean driveway. The reason is, if you compact the snow onto the driveway, it can create areas where it will damage the concrete. So in the summertime, when things warm up, the surface of the driveway will have peeled or spalled and come apart, and that's because that snow that's been compacted will continue to freeze and melt and can ruin the concrete. The next thing you need to make sure to do is to not apply salt or ice melt, especially during the first couple years that you're living in your home, because it'll do the same thing. The heat and the melting can cause the surface of the concrete to fall apart. It's called spalling. Throughout the wintertime of throwing the salt or the ice melt onto the driveway, it can damage it. So for safety or traction, you can use sand, but just make sure you don't use the salt or the ice melt. So make sure that you consider the concrete part of your winter maintenance. Make sure to seal the concrete and to not drive on the snow and to not use salt or ice melt, and your driveway will last a long time and will look as nice as this new driveway that we've just recently installed. The next paragraph in your brochure talks about exterior paint. We have painted your doors and also certain other areas of your home, and it's important to know that if they're exposed to a lot of water or standing snow, that the wood can be damaged. So it's important that you keep the snow and water away from your doors, so you make sure to shovel away from the doors. And it's important in certain types of wood that we may have painted or sealed, that you repaint or seal those areas every fall so that they're protected throughout. The next paragraph in your brochure talks about your rain gutters. In certain areas, depending on what area you're in or if you have large trees, you can get a lot of leaves and debris in your rain gutters, which can cause them to back up, especially during the wintertime with all the snow. So it's important that in the fall you can get up and take a look at your rain gutters and make sure that they haven't been blocked up, and if they have, you remove whatever debris is blocking them up. It's also a great time while you're up there to install your heat tape and your Christmas lights, so you might as well get up there anyway and take a look at the rain gutters and just make sure they're good and clear so that they'll function properly throughout the winter. The next part in your brochure talks about your furnace filter. It's very important, especially during the first few months of living in your new home, that you replace the filter regularly. But of course, when it comes time for winter that the furnace is going to be kicking on, you want to come down and replace the filter. So when we installed the furnace in your home, we left you a few extra filters, typically over by the side of the furnace, and they look like this. You can buy them at your local Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever you shop, and they're very simple to replace. There's a spot on the side of the furnace right here. You simply pull out the old one and you put in the new one. The only thing you need to pay attention to is it specifies which side goes in which. So it says the airflow going in this direction. So you slide that back in and you're good to go. That ensures that your furnace will run as efficiently as possible so you can enjoy the home. The next paragraph in your brochure talks about your hose bibs. We've installed freeze-proof hose bibs, but if you leave the hose attached, then the water can freeze and back up into the valve and actually freeze and burst inside of your home, causing a major leak. So what you need to do is, before the temperatures reach freezing, you need to make sure that you take off all of your hoses from the hose bib so that they don't cause any freezing and backing up. It's real simple. Just make a note that when it starts to get cold, detach all of your hoses and you'll be good to go for the winter. The next paragraph in your brochure talks about your fireplace. If you purchased a fireplace with your Nilsson home, then you'll need to learn how to turn on the pilot light. Even after you turn on the pilot light, some windstorms can cause wind to come in through the vent and blow out the pilot light. So it's really simple. Depending on which type of fireplace you have, you'll typically have a panel beneath the fireplace. In this case, we had to pull off the screen. In other fireplaces, there's just a opening door here that you get into. Then you simply pull out the instructions, make sure to read the safety tips, and then follow the lighting instructions, and you'll get the pilot light lit back up again, and then you can use the switch to turn the fireplace on and off so you can enjoy your fireplace throughout the winter. The next paragraph in your brochure talks about your exterior railing. If we've installed wrought iron railing at your home, it's important that you maintain that also during the winter to keep it from rusting or having the paint chip off. So what you can do is periodically wash the railing with just water and soap, and occasionally you can even wax the railing with just regular liquid car wax. That'll make sure that your railing stays looking nice and new and won't be damaged with all the rain. The next paragraph in your brochure talks about your sprinkler system. Hopefully within a year of moving into your new Nilsson home, you've been able to install a beautiful yard like this. And so you just want to keep in mind that before winter hits, you want to turn off the water and clean out the valves so that you don't get any water freezing in your sprinkler pipes that will cause damage to the system, so that when spring comes, you have to tear out your different sprinkler lines. So just as a helpful tip, make sure that you turn off your water and clean out the valves before winter, and you won't have any issues. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video and to read the brochure. As you can tell, Nilsson Homes takes great pride in the homes that we build, and we have a great warranty program, but we also want to provide this information to you so that you can have some good tips to do some preventative maintenance to make sure that your investment lasts for many, many years and you can enjoy your home and be proud of the Nilsson home that you have purchased. Thanks again.